It's the final race of the 2022 Sports Car Championship Canada. Today at CTMP, it's the final opportunity with double points on the line to grab a race win and to grab a championship.
There's been 12 races at 4 tracks and some of the best sports car talent in the country. Today, we crown champions in both the GT4 and the TCR class. Who will it be? Welcome to the final round of the 2022 Sports Car Championship Canada. We're at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park for the sports car finale. Hello and welcome. I'm Dave Bradley along with Kyle Marcelli, and Todd Lewis is trackside. Kyle, the series has raced at CTMP, at Calabogie, at Toronto, and Trois-Rivières, and now we're back here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park for the finale.
That's right, Dave. We're back where it all started. Today we've got a 40-minute sprint race. Zach Vanier in that 9 McLaren. He just needs to keep Charles Robin in his sights, and the 2022 GT4 class championship is his.
He was really dominant to start the year in that FAF entry, and he's really maintained that cushion over the course of the season. And speaking of dominance, Jeremy Daniel has done the same thing in the TCR class.
It's been a great season so far for the number 10 of Jeremy Daniel, and round 11 was picture perfect. He not only won the race, but won it overall. So we go into round 12, he's boosting with confidence.
And we'll see if he can do it once again here in round number 12. It's an overcast day here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. The temperature's down a little bit as we cap the 2022 season. The field is rolling out of the paddock area and onto the front straightaway. But once again, just a great field of race cars in both classes.
That's right. We've got 2 categories, the GT4 category and the TCR category. GT4s are rear-wheel drive, a little more horsepower, a little heavier. TCR's front-wheel drive, 4-cylinder turbocharged, and let's not forget they produce a ton of downforce. We should touch on also GT4. They set their BOP from the SRO organization, whereas the TCR category is based off the WSC.
And let's take a look at the starting lineup. You can see in row number 2, that's where we find Charles Robin and Ron Tomlinson, Tom Kwok and Zachary Vanier in row number 3. And then a look back to row number 4. That's where we have Volk and Dean Baker in the 84 and the 52.
And on row 5, the 21 of JFFA and the number 4 of Justin Di Benedetto.
Row number 6, Quinnitrell in the 86, Vince Partab in the 38. And then row 7, Connor Attrell in the 80. Gary Kwok drives the 66. And Connor Attrell unable to make the call here again today in the 80 car. And as a matter of fact, the 86 of Quinnitrell unable to make the start in the Hyundai Racing Canada entry. So both unable to go here in round number 12.
Yeah, power steering issues for those Hyundais. Again, an unusual set of circumstances, and that's just a shame that they're not going to be able to take the green flag here today.
Building some heat as quickly as they can in those Michelin tires as the field will line up behind the pace car. At this point, the butterflies start building in your stomach. The start is always the most exciting point of a race for any driver. And it doesn't matter if you're starting on pole, as Jeremy Daniel is, or if you're starting mid-pack where Zachary Vanier finds himself here today. You never know what is going to happen as we ride on board with Ron Tomlinson. The pace car is in.
Cars are working their way through turn 10, nice and tidy. We're seeing a gap back on the 4th row on the outside. Stewards are going to take a look at that. Here we go, taking the green flag.
And the run down to turn number 1 as Daniel jumps on it. Polito gives him a good run for his money up on the outside. Daniel's going to lead him on the exit of turn number 1, but Polito is right there in check. Remember, in race number 11, we saw that number 22 close the gap in the late stages of the race as Polito gained some confidence behind the wheel of that Ford Mustang. We'll see if that confidence can carry over here into race number 12.
Yeah, no, we got contact in turn 3. That looks like the Honda of one of the Fox.
I think Di Benedetto in the gray and red Audi was in there as well. Di Benedetto went for a bit of a slide, gathered it back up. Now look at Zachary Vanier.
Vanier all over the 56 of Charles Robin as they work their way out of 5B.
That's his main rival in the championship point standings. And Vanier still at risk of losing that. If he finishes third in today's race in class and Charles Robin wins, that'll make Charles Robin your champion in the GT4 class. So it is still anyone's race because double points once again up for grabs here today.
It is anybody's race, and the 9 of Vanier looking racy as they work their way through 8 and 9. He wants that spot.
So it's a 40-minute time to race as the leaders come through to click off a lap. The difference at the line just 0.4 of a second. So Daniel was able to open up a big gap the last time the series visited here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. He did it early on and then sort of held that lead. This time, Polito is right there.
Oh, we've got trouble for the 66. Looks like he was off track, exit a 1. Everything seems to be okay.
Gary Kwok, as we'll have a look out of the front window of the 21 of JF Avey, and around goes the 66.
Yeah, just a big oversteer at the apex, lost the rear of the car, wasn't able to keep it going in the right direction. Lazy half spin, but he got it under control and is back on the racetrack. On board with the 22, Jack Polito in the Ford Mustang GT4. You know, last time out, the 10 of Jeremy Daniel really opened a gap in the opening stages of the race. Let's see if Jack's able to learn from that. Maybe they made adjustments to the car, tire pressure. That car comes on a little stronger, hopefully.
Tomlinson to the outside of Di Benedetto, and he will complete the pass, or will he? Big contact in a very, very quick part of this racetrack.
Big contact and a big save for Di Benedetto as they work their way through 8.
Oh boy, is Tomlinson, remember he started up in the field. Another little bit of a slow start for the driver of the number 48, has to battle his way back through and really misjudged in turn number 8 as Di Benedetto still had a nose there, but you see the field just jockeying for position as these two 4 cars have paired off.
Yeah, great save from Di Benedetto. Let's take a look at that here as we're on board coming into turn 8.
So at this point, Tomlinson thinks he's clear, and he's not.
Yeah, you wonder if the Ford just got caught in the blind spot here again on board with nowhere further back.
Yeah, we catch the grass at that point there. The dust kicked up by the 48 of Tomlinson, but the good news is that everybody maintains and stays on track, and we stay green, and a battle up towards the front of GT4. This is for second in class, and it will be the number 9 of Zachary Vanier moving around the 56 of Charles Robin. So Vanier now 3rd overall, second in class behind Polito.
That was a beautiful pass, and a big pass at that going into 5A. Picture perfect. A true professional. Vanier showed the nose going into 5A. Robin, you could tell he saw him in the mirrors. He looked and ran wide in 5A, opening the door for Vanier to clear him into 5B. Well done.
And there they went through that gravel that was kicked up by that TCR battle. And this is big when you look at the overall picture and the 2022 championship for Vanier to get ahead now of the 56. Now all he has to do is make that McLaren as wide as possible and make life miserable for Charles Robin in the 56.
That's right, big move and worth big points because we got a great aerial shot. Cars working their way through turn 2. Super fast, high elevation. You really lose the elevation as you crest the apex. Working their way into turn 3 now. Big brake zone, late apex corner. You see that patch. That's really, really grippy asphalt. You know, CTMP has a few of these asphalt patches around the lap and really produce a lot of grip.
Yeah, they did a lot of work to this racetrack, actually through the pandemic when the racetrack was essentially sitting silent. So they went to work, patched up a lot of the holes, a lot of the problem areas, and made it a very racy track once again. So as we watch the cars circle early on in this one, it is Jeremy Daniel out in front. welcome back to the Sports Car Finale and the Sports Car Championship Canada presented by Michelin. As we've got a battle deeper in the field, the 21 of JF Avey is working on the 48 of Ron Tomlinson as we ride on board the driver of the 21.
Yeah, he's defensive now into turn 1. That move into 10 cost him momentum, and he had to block as they worked their way into 1. Now out of 1 into 2.
You get used to using your mirrors when you drive in the TCR class because it's a guarantee you're always around someone.
Yeah, the 21 looks racy. Lots of speed in that Audi TCR as he is trying to find a way past Ron Tomlinson, who was quick last time out.
Well, that car for Jean-Francois Avey is prepared out of the same shop from the TRC Motorsport folk as your overall race leader in the 10. Jeremy Daniel has now opened up about a 2-second gap as Avey took a look underneath the 48 of Ron Tomlinson, and that'll sort of cost him not a great opportunity to take a look because it'll cost him the run down the straightaway.
Yeah, not a difficult place to make a move. Doable, difficult. You know, you really need a full commitment. You can't back out of it last second. Otherwise, you see here, you just lose all momentum down the straightaway.
And don't count out the number 55 of Tom Kwok, who's right there in the Honda Civic as well, just lurking, waiting to see what happens with this battle between a couple of Audis just in front of him. And we can talk a little bit about 2023. The schedule is starting to come together for the Sports Car Championship Canada. We've already got some confirmed dates, 2 dates once again here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. The series will be back once again at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, and it'll feature a brand new class as well in TCA, which is another fully homologated class and featuring cars like Honda Civic. You've got the Hyundai Elantra, and you've got the Mini and the Subaru BRZ as well. So an interesting new stepping stone.
Yeah, Dave, great points. You know, Chris By and his team doing a wonderful job here to really grow professional sports car racing in Canada. You know, we're seeing some top teams, drivers, and equipment here competing in these races. The series is only getting bigger, only getting stronger.
Yeah, it's hard to believe this series is only in its 2nd year. It's in its relative infancy, and the buzz is starting to build as Avey in the 21 loses power on the exit of 5 down the Andretti straightaway. Have a listen. It's at full song now, so whatever it was a minor blip, but it cost him a position.
I wonder if he nicked the pit limiter. I only say that because I saw the headlights flashing as he was coming out of turn 5B, 5C area. I don't know. Did he get crossed up, maybe nick the pit limiter button, and it woed him down for that split second?
How quick is it to take that off, though?
Well, it's an on-off switch. Very easy to do. It's been done at the highest levels of motorsport.
Boy, for Jean-Francois Avey, you see that minor mistake, or whatever it was, did cost him huge. Let's have another look from on board.
He's working his way into 5A right now 5B. No. You know what? I'm not too sure. The car he just lost power. By no means did it look like he hit a pit limiter. It just died on him for a second and then got going.
But then you could see him take a really good look at the steering wheel, and he hit a button and it picked right back up. So you might be right.
Well, I think he's on the radio with his crew, sort of, you know, quick reaction saying, guys, I just lost power. Not sure what happened, but tough go for the 21 who came out of the gate strong.
Either way, he's back up to full speed now. We stay green, just under 30 minutes left to go here in this 40-minute timed race. Jeremy Daniel continues to lead overall, and he continues to lead in the TCR division as well. Richard Boak, Justin DiBenedetto rounding up the top 3 as it stands right now.
You wonder if the FAF guys took a look at that McLaren, maybe made some adjustments after the last round, right? We saw Charles Robin leading Vanier start to finish in round 11. Now we've got a reverse order with Vanier ahead of Robin and looking very comfortable here in that number 9.
Gary Kwok had some issues earlier on in his TCR Honda Civic. A quick flash of the high beams from Zachary Vanier as Vanier works through the lap down car. You see him still checking the mirror because you're never sure who's coming up from behind.
As we ride on board with Vanier, you know, this is one of the original homologated GT4 race cars. You know, it's certainly getting long in the tooth, and they're squeezing every ounce of performance that they can from that thing.
It is a beautiful car, though, when you get a chance to see these cars up close, and a lot of debris on the straightaway. And we're checking to see who that could be from. Yeah, it does look like a tire, or at least an inner tire well from one of these cars, and it's possibly the 66 of Gary Kwok. Kwok is now off the pace and down pit lane. You can see damage to the right front corner of that Honda Civic as well.
Kwok did get into the back of another car early in the race. You wonder if he did some bodywork damage that eventually cut down a tire.
Yeah, shake of the head from the crew. It's always a good indication when you see the crew members, when they're gathered around the vehicle, how they react when the car pulls up. And there's obviously not a lot of urgency there. Have a look.
Oh, yeah, it just seems like that carcass just came apart.
As you can see, the right front damaged on that 66 car. And Gary Kwok has climbed out now, coming around to have a survey of that. You can see the belts and the tires are away. That tire is off the rim. There's a pretty good amount of damage done to this car.
Yeah, I'd like to think that was from early contact in the race that resulted in that tire puncture and bodywork coming apart.
Yeah, so the rare tire failure cost Gary Kwok as we stay under green. So it looks like all that debris is sort of kicked off to the side just enough that we'll stay under green. The officials here with the series have had a look at it, and you can see it does look, you can get two cars side by side through there fairly easily.
Yeah, it is one of the few good passing opportunities going into 8. So cars might be on the radio, drivers might be on the radio saying, I need a caution, let's get this stuff cleaned up, because that's taken away a passing opportunity for us. We'll see how race stewards react.
Tom Kwok, the other Honda Civic, still out on track and still pressuring the number 48 of Ron Tomlinson. That is for 8th position overall. As Polito now has fallen back to your race leader. So Jeremy Daniel continues to lead. Jack Polito in the 22 is second. So a carbon copy of what we saw in race number 11, though the difference is now 3 seconds. So not quite as drastic as it was in race number 11. So we continue under green with Daniel way out in front. Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, first opened in 1961, features 10 turns over 3.9 kilometers. I'm Dave Bradley. Along with me is championship winner Kyle Marcelli, Tom Lewis's trackside. And Kyle, another championship to your credit here in 2022. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, Dave. I got to thank my team, Wayne Taylor Racing, my teammate, Danny Formal. We were fortunate to win the 2022 Lamborghini Super Trofeo Pro Championship this year, and now we'll go to Portugal and take on the Europeans.
Those look like very fun cars to drive. Much the same as this series here, but again, we talk about that ladder system and getting your feet wet in sports car racing, and then you just keep climbing the ladder, don't you?
Absolutely. As we touched on earlier, Chris Bai and his team have done a fantastic job growing this championship. These are top teams, drivers, cars. You can go just about anywhere in the world and run your GT4 car or your TCR car. These are globally homologated race cars. Very little in terms, well, I shouldn't say very little. There's lots of tuning that can be done from the team's standpoint, lots of engineering, but the cars come, built from the factory as you see them, and creates close competition.
It really does, because you see all the different manufacturers racing together. You've got an Audi and you've got a Honda Civic, and they're racing nose to tail as you've got Tomlinson and Kwok. And Kwok is actually all over him in these twisty sections, turn 9 and 10. The 48 able to stretch a bit of a gap now on the front straightaway, though.
Yeah, just so much data that can be pulled for the performance of these cars all around the world. This TCR category sanctioned, and the BOP is based off of the SRO, the Stefan Rittel organization, a global organization with just cars on track all over the world. Sorry, as the 66 of Kwok gets by into turn 2.
Yeah, he used that line in the slingshot on the inside of turn number 2 as the 48 ran just a little bit wide, did Ron Tomlinson, and now he gets to look at the back bumper of the Honda Civic for just a little while. But what's great about this, too, in both the GT4 class and the TCR class, is you have manufacturer support. It seems to be a big buy-in from a lot of different manufacturers.
A lot of manufacturers. I mean, this is, race Sunday, sell Monday, at its best. Manufacturers from, Ford, Mercedes, Porsche, BMW, the list goes on. They're all involved in sports car racing at a TCR GT4 level.
There you see your points leader in the GT4 class, Zachary Vanier, as he continues second in class behind Jack Polito, but that's what he needs to do here today. If he finishes there, then Zachary Vanier will be crowned 2022 champion.
Yeah, another check mark for him. He's already a champion, having won the championship in an Audi TCR a few years back. So great to see him, just doing a great job with the FAF guys. He's found a home there. They've really taken him under his wing, and just a great season so far aboard that number 9 McLaren.
Right on board quickly with Jack Polito, who's still chasing the 10 of Jeremy Daniel. And we talk about championships. You talk about the 10 of Jeremy Daniel. Comes in as the points leader, and it's really, today is just an asterisk. He just needs to finish today's race, and he will be crowned the TCR champion. He's had just a wonderful season behind the wheel of that Audi RS3.
Certainly has. We see Charles Robin work his way down the back straightaway. On board now with the 84 of Richard Boak. Just a light brake, one downshift, and back to throttle as they work their way through turn 8. Gosh, one of my favorite sections of the racetrack. High speed 8, big commitment on the corner entry. You kind of woe it down a little bit for 9, a little bit more for 10. Works his way onto the front straightaway. Turn 1 almost flat out. Just a small lift in these TCR cars. Lightweight, they produce a lot of downforce.
Do you try and turn the car a little bit with throttle in the TCR class, given the fact that it is front-wheel drive?
You know what? I don't have any experience. I have very little experience with front-wheel drive race cars. I have certainly no experience with the TCR, but from what I've heard and what I've seen, you want to drive these cars with some oversteer, meaning you want them to be free. You need them to be loose. You want the rear of the car to kind of rotate for you, entry and apex of the corner, and then drive it out with the throttle.
Sounds like that's what the 84 of Richard Boak is doing. Shows you the parity between classes as well here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park with the GT4 of Charles Robin and the TCR car of the 84 of Richard Boak. Clicking off fairly similar lap times as Jeremy Daniel, once again, a TCR class car overall leader ahead of a trio of GT4s.
Yeah, Jeremy Daniel with just a huge lead as we come to the halfway point. 24 seconds over the second place car of Richard Boak. Now we see the 22, Jack Polito.
Yeah, Polito is leading GT4, so he doesn't have to push too much harder than what he's doing right now. He's got a 12-second, now 13-second gap over Zach Vanier. So Polito just keep clicking off his lap times, getting more and more comfortable. He's only been in this car a handful of times.
Yeah, what an impressive young man, impressive young race car driver. I worked with Jack back at the Calabogie Motorsports Park round. That was his first time aboard the GT4 car. Had a pair of podiums there, 2/3. Now we come here, a place that he knows well, CTMP, having cut his teeth in the Formula 1600 category, and just having a wonderful race. Great group of guys. Bart leads the team over there, his father Anthony. Great to see him up front.
Yeah, it seems too that Canadian Tire Motorsport Park is a place that you are either intimidated to drive or you just absolutely love and you're in full attack mode right from the get-go. Because it's a pretty quick place, isn't it?
Oh, this is, I think a few years ago, someone told me, or I came across it, I think this Mosport is the 3rd fastest track in the world in terms of your average speed, the average speed that you carry around the lap. You know, of course, you slow it down quite a bit for 5B, but most of the lap is, you know, nearly flat out. Small brake pressure, small lift if necessary, but a really quick lap, lots of elevation change.
And a lot of momentum, too. That's something as a driver that you have to think of as well, linking those turns.
Yeah, big time momentum. You know, you need confidence in your car. This is just a very, very fast racetrack. Personally, I like a car with just a little bit of understeer around Mosport, someplace, you know, so that I could attack the corner knowing that the rear's underneath me and I could try to be as fast as I can through the corner.
You can see Boak in the 84 still chasing down the 56 of Charles Robin. We have had a change in the TCR class just in behind as Ivy has managed to get around the 4 of Justin Di Benedetto. So whatever problem was hampering the 21 seems to be fixed as Ivy is once again at speed. And welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and the final round of 2022, round number 12 for the Sports Car Championship Canada, presented by Michelin. As you see, your overall race leader starting to work into lap traffic. He's got Vince Partap just ahead of him, does Jeremy Daniel, and Daniel will make quick work of that going to the inside in turn number 3. This moment, though, we do want to thank series manager Jessica Benavides and her team for all of her help in the 2022 season. It is a big animal to try and corral this series and all the moving parts over the course of a season. She's done a great job along with Chris By in making things work and again looking at big and better things in 2023.
Yeah, lots of growth to be expected in this championship already. You know, wonderful momentum just 2 years in. We've got a healthy grid of race cars in TCR and GT4. It's only going to get better, and a new category coming in the TCA.
And new events, too. I mean, first time ever that this series made a stop at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, the historic Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, raced on the streets of Toronto as a partner with the IndyCar race over the course of that weekend. So when you can mark those marquee events into your calendar, you know the series is going in the right direction.
Yeah, and you know what? These are race cars that people just love. They love to watch. They're relatable. You can drive these cars on the road. Your Ford Mustang, Mercedes AMG. You've got the Audi RS3, etc.
As a Ford Mustang and a Mercedes battle side by side, not for position on track. Of course, Vince Partap in the Sports Car Boutique backed number 38 tucks to the outside, and Jack Polito will make his way through. Again, Polito holding on to the top spot in the GT4 class. Jeremy Daniel continues to lead overall. Daniel now 28 seconds ahead of second place in the TCR class, Richard Boak. And Polito with almost 16 seconds, a gap in GT4 over Zachary Vanier. So again, no real challenges for first and second, but there's a lot of racing on the track.
That's right, as we take a look at the 21 coming into turn 4. Hear the splitter just smacking off the ground through 4, a little bit bumpy, hard braking for 5A. And again, you see maybe a little bit of wheel spin there actually coming out of 5B. I thought maybe it was a fuel pickup issue again. We saw that earlier in the race, but I think just a bit of front wheel spin that time.
And you can see Di Benedetto in the 4, who visited Victory Lane earlier on this season at Calabogie Motorsport Park, is giving chase, but again, there's a healthy margin between those two cars on track. However, as you get towards the later stages of this race, it's possible that the tires will start to not stick as good as they were earlier on in the race. The brakes might start getting a little bit soft, as we've seen in the past as well. So as we start getting into 10 minutes and less, anything could happen at that point. So we continue under green with the field spread out nicely here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And welcome back to round number 12 of the Sports Car Championship Canada, presented by Michelin, as we ride on board with Richard Boak. Boak still pressuring the number 56 of Charles Robin in the Mercedes AMG, again a GT4 and a TCR. It sounds healthy for a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It sounds like it's making some horsepower down the straightaway, although the 21 of JF Ivy is now starting to close in on Boak. So Boak 5th overall, Ivy is 6th overall, and he's coming.
He is. We saw lots of speed from the 21 early in the race, and then some sort of an issue out of 5C. He dropped back, lost a position to the 4, I believe, of Di Benedetto, but now he's back. The 21 is back on the bumper of the 84 as they work their way into turn 1. 12 minutes to go.
And you can see he's closing rapidly now compared to the 84 Boak. Boak has really been steady in that spot, in the shadow of the 56 of Charles Robin. Now we ride on board Ivy out of turn 2 towards turn number 3.
Richard Boak in the 84 holding on to second position in TCR. We saw this in round 11. I believe he held on to third with a train of TCR cars behind him.
He's had an up-and-down season, has Richard Boak, in the Blanchette Motorsports number 84. He's had some very good finishes, including a win in 2022, and unfortunately has been bitten by some bad luck at times as well this season. Have a look, though, down the Andretti straightaway. Now JF Ivy is right there. Again, a reminder, there is some debris on the inside. There you can see it's a tire carcass to the inside turn number 8. Didn't really factor in the mind of Ivy too much as he poked his nose out to the inside.
Yeah, part of me is surprised that we didn't go caution to clean that up. Oh, we almost get a bit of contact working their way into turn 9. The 21 JFFA late on the brakes. But that debris does take away the line into turn 8. The leading car not able to get over soon enough to defend. The trailing car not able to get over soon enough to make the pass. We'll see how this plays out. Still lots of time on the clock, 11 minutes. There's lots of speed in the 21. He doesn't need to rush it. You know, Jeremy Daniel is so far ahead. This is a race for second.
And it looked like the 21 was going to try a move to the inside. Now he goes to the outside, turn number 3. There is contact between the 84 and the 21. Ivy finds himself out in the grass.
Wow.
And hangs on to it.
Big moment for the 21 as he looked to the outside of the 84 going into turn 3. A little bit of contact. Boak just ran wide. The 21, not enough room there on the exit.
And what about the splitter on that 21? That has to be on the mind of Jean-Francois Ivy as he bounced along in the grass.
Yeah, you know, that could have been much worse.
Have another look on board the 21. Here's where he goes to the outside, turn 3.
So the move to the outside was good. It looked like he came down to the inside maybe a little earlier than he needed to and kind of chopped the nose of Boak a little bit. Then Boak opened up his hands and ran the 21 off at the exit. So, you know, a little give and take from each driver.
Good hard racing for the same piece of real estate. That's what it looked like in turn number 3. Unfortunately for the 21, he was on the outside and got the worst of it. But it looks like that splitter is intact. All 4 wheels pointed in the same direction. And now a little bit of steam coming from the cockpit of the 21. You can be guaranteed of that.
Yeah, still 9 minutes to go. Lots of speed in the 21.
Although he may think twice about trying to make a move up on the outside in turn number 3. Once again on the 84 as we ride on board with Richard Boak. Not much of a lift, yeah.
Yeah, the 84's flat out as they crest the hill in turn 4.
There's your overall race leader and the leader in the TCR division. Now 31 seconds, almost 32 seconds over Richard Boak. But how about that Polito, number 22? He is having himself a race once again here in race number 12. Had a career best win in race number 11, and here he is set to repeat in race number 12, and he's closing the gap once again. 2.6 seconds with just under 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, he certainly is, the 22, Jack Polito. You know, he missed out on the overall victory in round 11. He wants to get the win.
Now Ivy on the exit of turn number 10. He's going to take a look on the inside. Turn number 1, he will have that spot. The preferred line goes to the driver of the 21, and he will have 5th overall. And 2nd in class now behind Jeremy Daniel. So Jean-Francois Ivy follows his teammate at the TRC Motorsport shop. So they are 1-2 once again, both back to 3rd in class.
Yeah, the TRC Motorsports crew doing a fantastic job. They got something figured out with these cars. They are quick. Boak in the 84 just didn't have enough for the 21. The 21 of JFFA had a great drive out of turn 10, popped to the inside early, clean move into 1. Good heads-up driving from Boak.
You can see a piece of debris on the splitter of the 21. It's unclear as to whether or not it's broken or it might just be a piece of garbage that's been kicked up after he did that little off-track excursion, but it's not hampering the 21 at this point. There's a good shot of your overall race leader and 2nd place, and that's the gap between the two as Jeremy Daniel continues to pace the field. But Jack Polito, for the 2nd race in a row, is turning up the wick in the 22 and closing the gap.
He is closing the gap. He is closer than he was in round 11 at this stage in the race, but the 10 of Jeremy Daniel, he seems to be doing a much better job keeping the front Michelins under his car as well. The pace that last time by was nearly identical lap times between the two at 23.3, 23.4.
1.8 seconds now the difference between the top two. But this is a perfect example now of the difference between the TCR class and the GT4. You talk about comers and goers in a race. Well, it looks like the TCR tend to be goers because they'll fall back a little bit, and the GT4s are able to maintain a pace later in a longer run.
Yeah, it's a game of cat and mouse. You know, the TCR is a much lighter car compared to the GT4, but it's asking a lot from those front tires. It's braking, accelerating, and turning. You know, where the GT4 car, being rear-wheel drive, is able to share the workload a little bit amongst the 4 wheels. So late in the race, it's normal to see the GT4s with better tires underneath them.
This time past the stripe, we'll be at 5 minutes left to go here in race number 12. And there is your points leader in the GT4 class, again having just a really normal day out here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Cool and calm in the cockpit is Zachary Vanier as he goes up through the gears once again. It's the kind of day that Zachary Vanier needed.
Yes, just an uninterrupted, easy drive. He wants to win that championship.
And we should mention, too, one of the organizations that's teamed up with FEL and the Sports Car Championship Canada, Operation Motorsports. That's a group that integrates members of the Canadian Forces once they get out of the forces back into society, essentially, and gives them an opportunity in motorsport, be part of a team, and members of several teams here today. It is a great organization, and it's been growing in leaps and bounds over several years.
Yeah, and what a cool opportunity it is for those veterans to get their hands, you know, on some sophisticated race cars and be involved in the sport. Very cool.
A lot of them come out of the forces as mechanics. Why not put those skills to use working on a McLaren instead of a helicopter, for example? As we continue to watch the number 9 FAF Motorsports entry of Zachary Vanier. And here comes Charles Robin. So Robin needed to beat Vanier today. As a matter of fact, he needed the driver, the number 9, to have a really bad day today, and it doesn't look like that is happening with about 3.5 minutes left to go. Vanier is having a solid second-place day. If he finishes there, he will be crowned champion. As the white flag comes out, one more lap to go here in race number 12. As Polito has a bit of space to make up if he wants to challenge your overall race leader.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go with just one lap.
So Daniel continues out in front through turn number 2, and into turn number 3 again. Now he'll just have to hit his marks. Appears as though that car has been trouble-free all race long. Let's run on board with Polito one more time.
As we're on board with the 22, 5th gear through turn 4, nearly flat out, and then hard on the brakes for 5A. 5B back onto the Mario Andretti straightaway.
Haven't mentioned it much, but I love to see in these TCR cars, they lift up that back tire as they work their way through turn number 5. Daniel now down this straightaway.
1.2 seconds is the 22 behind the 10.
He'll crest the hill and drop down in the gears just a little bit, ease his way through turn number 8. He has a couple more challenging corners to make through 9. And now 10 is trouble-free, and Jeremy Daniel will lead him onto the front straightaway. One more time, double checkers wave. He'll win the race and the championship in the TCR class.
And Jack Polito in the 22 Ford Mustang GT4 takes the win in GT4. A great round of races at CTMP for him.
Back-to-back winner, and as we watch the number 9, Zachary Vanier work his way through the final turns, and he will be crowned champion in the GT4 class in the Sports Car Championship Canada.
Charles Robin in the 56 rounds out the GT4 podium, 4th overall.
And you can see celebrations by Jack Polito there in the car, a flash of the high beams to family and friends in the grandstands as they work around under their cool-down lap. But as the rest of the field comes through to collect the checkers, we'll come back in victory lane. Welcome back to Victory Lane at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, a track that's hosted everything from NASCAR to Formula One. Today it hosts champions here in the Sports Car Championship Canada.
What a clinic the number 10 put on. That's back-to-back wins in round 11, 12, but not just wins overall for Jeremy Daniel in the TCR.
There you can see Charles Robin in the 56 coming home 4th. Jean-Francois Evy rounds out the top 5, but Todd standing by with your winner. Todd?
Jeremy Daniel is out of the car, has the helmet off. What a way to wrap up a championship season with another victory here at CTMP.
Oh yeah, I mean, the car was incredible from start to finish. TRC and my sponsor, Fixoto, I can't thank them enough for supporting me this season and preparing such an awesome car. Without forgetting all the people that work for us behind. I mean, I'm speechless. Very happy.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And that is win number 5 for Jeremy Daniel here in the 2022 season, and that's the reason a 56-point cushion at the end of 12 races.
And a commanding championship victory it was over the 21 of JF Heve and 3rd, the 48 of Ron Tomlinson.
Well, what a season here in 2022 for that driver, Jeremy Daniel. He came out in the early rounds firing on all cylinders, and many races was able to cruise home your winner. It looked easy at times, but it wasn't. It was a battle every step of the way. From street circuits to road courses, Jeremy Daniel mastered them all here in 2022. Now let's send it down to Todd, who's standing by with today's GT4 winner.
Jack Polito, I know you don't have a lot of time in this car, but you sure look awfully comfortable in it. Well done. Another victory here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
Yeah, it was. So it's been my second weekend in this car. I've had 3 total practice sessions in the car, and I felt really comfortable, and I took it home, and we're really happy with that. So my crew right here, we just a 2-man crew, yet we still get the job done, so it's pretty awesome.
What a job by a small team to have such success here at CTMP.
Yeah, so I also want to thank Multimatic for building such an amazing vehicle. They helped us a little bit through this, and they've been amazing. So this car, it's amazing. It's all so much fun to drive. I love it.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You can tell by the smile on his face as well. And you can see the final point standing. Zachary Vanier did exactly what he needed to do this weekend.
He sure did. He brought that number 9 home, a championship winner over the 56 of Charles Robin, the 22 of Jack Polito in 3rd.
That's a championship celebration here in GT4 as Zachary Vanier jumps out and gets a big hug from his crew. And it was a team effort here in the GT4 class, and it wasn't easy for that driver.
It certainly was not. You know, street races in Toronto, street races in Quebec, road course races at Mosport. Zach Vanier won them all. He's got the best in the business behind him, Pfaff Motorsports. And he made it look easy in that number 9 McLaren.
Let's send it down trackside. Todd is standing by with this year's champion.
What an emotional celebration for Zachary Vanier and Pfaff Motorsports. What a run that you had today, knowing where you were, knowing what you had to do to secure a championship.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's always great to win, but, you know, we were thinking long-term all weekend. You know, we were calculated and we knew what we had to do coming into it, and we didn't take any risks that we didn't need to, and you know, we were just calculated all weekend. I'm so proud of this group, the entire Pfaff Motorsports team, and all my partners who are on board with this. You know, it wasn't the easiest weekend for us. You know, but we just all stuck together. We had the right mindset. We all worked together, and finally got the car in a spot where I was happy with in the race. And yeah, like you said, I put the pressure on Charles right away, because really that was our fight today. Was with the Mercedes, not with the Mustang. So, you know, once I got by him and I saw the gap just increasing, I just, you know, of course, always want to win, but, you know, I knew what we had to do. So thank you to the entire Pfaff Motorsports team for all their efforts this season. It's been another dream season with them. All my partners, Technica Mining, Anmar, Sophie, Motul, Pfaff McLaren, Worth Canada, Daskin Design, just everybody who made this season happen. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Zach Vanier, a professional off track, a professional on track. I think we should see big things from that young man in the future.
Very smart driver as well. As you see the podium for today's race in the TCR class, and the champagne gets sprayed. But what an event here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And really, anytime this championship comes to this track, you don't leave disappointed.
It was excitement from the drop of the green to the checkered, door-to-door racing in GT4 and TCR.
This was the battle that everyone was watching between Charles Robin and Zachary Vanier. And Vanier did what he needed to do. He kept the pressure on the 56 the entire time, but there was great contact in some places, but tight racing all over the racetrack.
There certainly was. We saw a big moment from the 66 in turn 1. Again, door-to-door, side-by-side racing action in TCR.
Just hard battling there between Richard Boak and Jean-Francois Eby. And there goes the tire out of the 66, laying down a bit of debris on the racetrack, but it didn't hamper things for Jeremy Daniel, who took today's top spot and the winner overall here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. He wins the championship. Zachary Vanier wins the championship in GT4. There's your podium for today in GT4, but what a season it's been here in the FEL Sports Car Championship Canada, presented by Michelin. From all of us, Kyle, Todd, I'm Dave Bradley. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you next year.